What's going on, Mad Hatters, and welcome back to the Madhouse. And this one is for all of you that are tired of losing to Sapphire. If you're tired of losing to Sapphire, then Green Purple Brainiac is the deck for you. And I'm going to showcase in this video how much it just decimates blue decks. You don't have to worry about going to best of 3 because you win 2-0. That's what it's all about. So in this video, we're looking at a gameplay. I'll pull up the list here. We're looking at a gameplay commentary with a Blurple matchup. And yes, Blurple's not the top of the meta anymore, but it's still being played and it's still blue. And your game plan is still the same versus any blue deck and why the deck does so well into blue deck. So I still thought it was really appropriate. And also I got a new setup for these gameplay commentaries that doesn't include the GoPro, although you'll see something later with the GoPro, but I wanted to showcase this as well because this is what's coming to the channel. I'm pretty excited. This is our first draft, so stick around for some more appealing gameplay commentaries, I think. And if you liked the GoPro more, let me know that as well. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the list that we're running, and in this list you'll notice that the Blurple matchup is actually kind of interesting because, and there's going to be a particular play in general that shows off one of the downfalls of the deck right now, because I've taken out the Under the Seas, and the reason for that is that Blurple's no longer the #1 deck being played, so we don't have to worry about all those one questers that Blurple has. And Under the Seas not hitting a lot of Amethyst steel, green blue, like all these red purple, all these other popular cards. So Under the Sea just felt very lackluster, right? And it just wasn't doing it for me. So for this list, I decided to kind of test a couple different things. I've been loving the Kronk that ward 5 cost uninkable quest for 2, and if you would have to discard your hand, you don't. So Headless Horseman now draws you 3 cards. Bend to My Will doesn't discard your hand. So Kronk has been, and Beyond the Horizon as well. So Kronk has been really good into blue steel, and it's been really good into green blue, and for that reason it's been an MVP. Just one of, though. It's still uninkable and it's not good into a lot of other matchups. The other thing you'll notice is the Madam Elephants. This is just something I wanted to throw in to try against Amethyst Steel. Spoiler alert, it doesn't help enough to matter. So that's not the answer, and Adam and Elephant has been cut. I don't even know if you see it come up in this game. But the other thing is Stop Chaos in His Tracks. Stop Chaos in His Tracks is another one, and historically has been really good against Amethyst Steel. So something that I've decided to throw back in, and spoiler alert, something I'm going to go up even higher on, because for us to have a chance against Amethyst Steel, I think Stopped Chaos in His Tracks is the really big answer there. And then, of course, I'm still on the Jasmines. This is something that I wouldn't even say is a debated topic. A lot of people really hate the Jasmines in my list. They don't understand why I'm on the Jasmines, but I love them. And it's such a powerful card. The 3 cost coming down, giving a character reckless or exerting a character that's damaged has been really helpful. And then the Shift Jasmine, refilling their hand so you can get Jasmine value, or so you can get Clarabelle value, has been really good. And then it's just another board wipe essentially, so it's been really good. Will we stick with it? I don't know. Amethyst Steel becoming so popular makes it a little bit harder for Jasmine, because there's a lot of cards you don't want to bounce back to their hand, and it's a little slower. So it might have to be Mother Gothel so that we can have the early windows of trading, but also being able to seeing Stopped Chaos in His Tracks and things like that. But with that being said, that's the list we're on. The list has still felt great. We just have to figure out, is there a way that we can at least get to maybe a 50% win rate into Purple Steel? That's the big question right now. But with that being said, let's get into the gameplay commentary. It is a little bit longer of a match, 41 minutes, so we are going to speed it up a little bit. But this is, of course, the new setup. So let me know how you like it. I have a couple ideas. We're going to stretch these out a little bit to make them a little bigger, things like that. But yeah, let's jump into it, all right? So I did win the dice roll. I do not know what my opponent is playing. I have not played him before, so this is completely blind. So with that being said, what am I altering for when I'm blind? Right now, with the popularity of blue, I really want to see Webby, right? The Webby shift line is so powerful. So looking at my hand though, we got 2 Clarabelles, looks like an Amethyst Chromacon, some Prince Phillips, Webby. So I really want to see the Webby. I really want to see Amethyst Chromacon. Past that, I don't really care. There's not really, seeing a shift line would be really nice, whether it be Cusco, Jasmine's fine as well, but seeing a shift line would be great. But a Webby and Chromacon is really next tier on what I'm looking for. So we'll see. Looks like we're probably going to go 2. We kept 3. So looks like we are 4. We'll kind of see if I show it off to the camera. That's something I've got to learn how to do. Okay, I did. Look at that. So we sit back 2, so we had a good hand. We have Inkables. We kept the Jasmine shift line. So that is our get out of jail free card if we really need it into something. So really good hand. Sending back 2, we saw a Mother Knows Best and something else. So Mother Knows Best, not what we really want to see right now, but because we have Chromacon, that's fine, because we can get that Chromacon down and be okay with Inkables. And then we do see that we get a Cusco, so get rid of that, see the Webby, and this is just a great hand. Anytime you see Webby shift line, you're feeling really good and really unbeatable. I see Finders Keepers and I immediately feel like this game is in my favor. So we go ahead. Now here, it's an interesting choice. I do go the Webby to start the lore, but I could have also gone Chromacon, and Chromacon would have been a fine choice as well, because no matter what, you have the ability to Chromacon and get the extra draw, right? Whereas where I went Webby, I opted to get the questing for free. I think Chromacon may have been the better answer there, but because I just would have had the 1 extra card draw, but that's okay. We're gonna quest here, go to 3. Don't forget to quest, right? Quest with that Webby before you ink. So Chromacon and start the drawing party. All right, so this is when it gets really exciting. When you get that Chromacon down, you're about to go to 4 ink, and life is just feeling really, really good. There's the elephant. Not a match. Blurple's not the matchup you want to see elephant. It's not going to do anything for you, so you get rid of it, and you don't really want to see it into any blue matchup, so you just drop it, right? He plays the Genie. That's fine. We have a Mother Knows Best that we can do stuff. And one thing I'm considering here. So this is a big turn right here. I'm on 2 ink. I have the Chromacon, or sorry, 3 ink. 4 ink. I'm on 4 ink here. I have the Chromacon. Now, with the Genie, he's able to take out my Webby next turn, because he can play Elsa on turn 4 to play and then send Genie plus Elsa into Webby. So I have a couple of different options here. How much do I value that questing power from Webby, and how much do I value just slowing him down? So you'll see I really take a second to think here, because I could get some free value from the Mother Knows Best to just bounce the Genie and then quest for 2. So I go to 6 already, which is a really big deal. Or I could just develop some more stuff if I wanted to do that. So a couple of different options here that I have at my disposal, and really it comes down to really just trying to protect my Webby and just get the free lore and everything. So that's what I opt to do. I get the free lore, and we're already at 6 into a control matchup, which it really showcases the value of Webby Vanderquack in a way that is just, she's just broken. She's just so good. We see the Aurora, so that's a spicy thing that I did not expect to see at all. And we're just going to continue to Chromacon though. The name of the game into Blurple is Chromacon every single turn. Never stop Chromaconing. Always Chromacon. And then I'm wondering here. I wonder what I'm wondering about. I would think, because I had a Prince Philip in hand and something else. I'm wondering if I should quest. Yeah. Okay. So we just draw the cow. And then now things are going to get really exciting, because I have the other cow in hand. I have a You're Welcome. And so now if he goes into the unknown play, like let's say he goes Elsa and then sings Into the Unknown with Aurora, that's fine. And that's the ideal situation. When a blue deck has to Hades your Clarabelle shift line, or ink your Clarabelle shift line, you're really, really happy about that, because it gives you all that ink that you need. And then you've hopefully, and Into the Unknown comes down. And you've hopefully found your other Clarabelle, so you can just respawn, and then you're welcome, and Mother Knows Best and all that. And then look at all those cards in my hand. Like, I am not hurting for cards at this point. I'm at 8 ink. Life is good. Like, life is really good at this point. You do see I'm on the Kronk. The Kronk is really bad into this matchup. It's not the one for him. He is warded in Quest for 2, so it's not the worst case scenario, but it's not the matchup that we want to see him in. We ink the Jasmine, Chromacon. Chromacon before you ink, okay? That's because you don't want to ink something that you might need, right? So always draw before you do your actions. That's pretty common knowledge, I think, but... So there I shifted because I want him to Hades. I want him to Hades my shift line. Like, I'm not ever going to be upset about that. And because if he Hades my shift line, then we go crazy, right? So here we are, welcome. Life is feeling good again. That riffle shuffle. I can't riffle shuffle. If I could, I would shuffle my deck by riffle shuffling. But I always screw up the bridge with sleeves. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. All right, down to 5 cards, so we'll draw 3 at this point. And I'm really looking for Bend to My Will. I have a massive hand, and I really want to find Bend to My Will at this point. This is the perfect time to play Bend to My Will. I have a big board. He has nothing on his board. He has a big hand. I want Bend to My Will. Bend to My Will ends the game instantly in this matchup at a point like this. So... all right, so we go 5. Elsa, let's see if he has another Into the Unknown. Oh, the Helping Hand. Very nice. Okay, so then he can take out the Webby, which is a huge, nice. That's really nice for him because I lose my warded Singer. So that's really good for him. Losing that 4-cost Singer is a really big deal. There you see he's on the Scrooge McDucks. Trying to show off my hand a little bit. I'm in a great position. I have the board wipe if things get out of control with the board wipe. But again, just looking for Bend to My Will at this point. But we're in a great position. We're at 6 lore, 9 ink, big hand. 6 lore, all from Webby also. All from Webby. Just going crazy. So we get another Chromacon down, get some draw, because why not? That's the name of the game. Draw to your heart's content, okay? Draw, 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 because you can generally always play more cards than they can. So here I just have a bunch of options. I can drop Cusco and Webby and then just kind of chill out for a second. I could You're Welcome one of the Elsas, drop the Webby and the Cusco. So let's go ahead and see, and it looks like that's what I'm looking at. So, yep, so there's a Cusco. Get that bad boy down. All right, there's the Webby. Now, it's funny to say this. I am trying to play this match faster because I know that worst case scenario, the odds of it happening are slim. We could have to go to a best of 3, and we're already down to 37 minutes. So that is something that this is 1.5 speed, the video, but I am trying to play this match a little bit faster for a couple reasons. I want to stress test it, right? Make sure that I can make those decisions in a faster way for when I do have to go to a best of 3 and I need that extra time. But also, I mean, really just that. Like that's really what it comes down to. I just need to stress test my ability to play quickly and do it effectively as well. Looking at my hand, we do use the You're Welcome there to really just go ham on the draw, and still no Bend to My Will. And that's the big thing that we're looking for. We're really looking for that Bend to My Will, and we're just not finding it, unfortunately. And here I just count my deck because I'm just really curious about where the Bend to My Wills are. I am only on 2, so that is something, but they must be on the bottom because I'm not finding them. And I am also only at 6 lore, so I need to make sure that I keep enough questers alive and not ink them that I can actually finish the game as well. But yeah, at this point, I'm looking for my Cuscos and I'm looking for Bend to My Will because I haven't found any of my big Cuscos and I haven't found any Bend to My Wills. And here, This is where I get really punished for not running the Under the Sea, because look how wide his board gets, and then I'm just not able to, like, I can still clear it, right? I have all those options. Baby Jasmine would be something I could do here. Prince Philip's Shift Line is something I can do here as well. So I have options. Now, one thing I consider here is being super greedy. And what I mean, and so this play in particular takes me a minute, because I could be super greedy. I could let him quest everything. And if I let him quest everything, then he goes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He goes to 11. But I could develop a Clarabelle here and then Jasmine the next turn. And then if he doesn't have Hades, then that's huge for me. But I decide not to go that route. That's not something... The greedy route, when you're ahead, there's no reason for it. Like, there's no reason to be super greedy when you're so far ahead. You can just play the game how you normally would and just win the game, and that's perfectly fine as well. And that's what I decide to do. Spoiler, I decide to pop the MMS Prince Philip combo and just clear his whole board. Yeah, and he knows what's coming, so he just clears it instead of putting the counters on there. Yep. And then here, I do something a little silly. I know that Monstro could be something that's coming, and I decide to play into it anyways, which is silly. I could have just been a little bit more patient, but I also need to pay attention to time, and I need to pay attention to the fact that I'm still only at 10. Like, I have all these cards in my hand, but I'm not gaining lore. So the pivot point is really important. One of the things that I've really enjoyed about this deck is it's comparable to Steel Song in the sense of looking at the pivot point of the deck. And while he clears my board with Monstro, I'll elaborate on that. With Steel Song, you had the aggro route, so you had to choose if you wanted to go the aggro route. But you also had the set up singers, control the board, all of that. And then you get this big board, and then you have to figure out what's the perfect time for me to just turn everything sideways. And I call it the pivot point, because if you mess up the pivot point, you lose. Like, there's no coming back. You quested too early, you quested too late, so they had too much time to control the board or take back the board, and you lose at 18, 19 because you utilized your pivot point wrong. Or you go too early, and when you go too early, they're able to control the board, and you didn't have the proper things set up to control the board again. So the pivot point, and green purple, this Brainiac deck has really reminded me of that, finding that optimal pivot point. This last turn was not the optimal pivot point. I messed that up, but luckily I'm so far ahead with resources that it doesn't matter. I have a Prince Philip on board, I have all this stuff on board, that it ultimately doesn't matter that I messed up the pivot point there, because of, I mean, my hand is bigger, like my hand is half the size of my deck right now. It's hard to lose at a point like this, especially when they're only at 4 ink, and I play a lot of warded characters that he can't respond to unless he runs Demona. So just, I'm in a really good place, even if I did misplay there. But so we have a couple, like, let's see, I really don't remember how I play this turn. I remember thinking I wanted his Monstro to not be ready, but he does ready it, which is very smart, very good move on his part, because that means I can't trade my Webby into it, which is something that I was going to do. But instead we just Cusco, we go super wide, and then hopefully quest for 4 to go to 14, and then that's pretty much writing on the wall. Wondering if I should Chromacon here. There's really no bad reason to. And I played Webby last turn, right? Why did I not quest there? Okay, Hades. That's fine. We'll take the ink. We're okay with that. Genie, that's fine. Because right now he's not able to trade with our board. So Hades and Genie doesn't allow him to do anything. Hades and Genie could go into Cusco, and then he could bell to hit the Clarabelle, but that's fine as well. We're not super concerned with that. here, sometimes the hand can just get pretty big, right? And maybe you just have to put some stuff down. So again, we can just start going wide. There's the Cusco. I'm finding my Cuscos finally at an opportune time. This is why the deck does so well against blue. They normally only drop one bomb at a time, so then you're able to just, oh, and this was my fault. I didn't realize that all I needed was the Webby shift. I didn't realize how much lore I had on board, so that was my fault. I really apologized a lot for that after this game, but yeah, like. And that's what you want against blue. Like that last sequencing there is everything you want against blue. You get them to a point, you control the board, they play one character at a time, you bounce it. Whether it's Mother Gothel, if you're running that, whether it's Mother Knows Best, you're welcome, Cusco, and you just bounce it continuously so they can't actually do anything. Okay, so next game. This time we know we're against blue. We don't have a great hand. We keep the Webby, and it looks like a 3-cost Clarabelle, but we're rewarded because we find the Shift Webby. And again, once you find the Shift Webby, it's pretty much just game over. It really like that's how big of an impact Shift Webby has on beating the blue decks. You still can win. Like this deck still does phenomenal. Instead of a 95% win rate, your win rate drops to 85 without Webby, probably. Like it's just that good. It is that good into blue decks. Webby is a monster. Resetting the lore and ink here. Bang, bang, bang. Nice. And there we go. And we're off to the races. So we altered 5. I think he altered 7. Trying to find turn 2 ramp, so that's what we like to see. We love to see blue decks having to alter 7. Like that is awesome, because that means they're gonna get a really risky hand of unplayable stuff, all in the name of getting turn 2 ramp, which is good for us. We get the Webby, we get the shift down. Hardest part is, what do we ink at this point? And we're pretty much wondering, do we need the Clarabelle shift line stuff? So we get the Webby down, we get the ink. And then I think we also had 2 You're Welcomes in hand. So the greedy part of me was saying keep the You're Welcomes, because we want the Clarabelle value, right? We want that super OP busted play of Clarabelle shift is singing You're Welcome, and we could double sing You're Welcome with Webby and Clarabelle. And if all that happens, you just kind of instantly win. But we decide to err on the side of caution. And this is another play. This is a lot like game 1, where I had to decide on how I was going to do it. And I was upset because I did mess up here. Well, not really. So I had two plays here. I had 3 ink. So what I could have done is I could have quested with Webby to gain the 2, which would then send me to 4 ink, and then I could have inked to go to 5, and then I could have hard casted You're Welcome on the Elsa, and that would have given me free ink, and that wouldn't have felt like, that would have felt really good. Like, and that probably would have been the play if I had a 1-cost Elsa in hand, or sorry, 1-cost Clarabelle. I think that would have been fine. I don't think this play was wrong, but I think there was other options, because here, if he plays Elsa, he can remove the Clarabelle anyways, and so I lose that free ink. Luckily, he doesn't have the 5-cost Elsa. Remember, he had to alter 7, so that's something that you can play with as well. But here we top deck the Stopped Chaos and his tracks. Phenomenal card, because we are about to shoot to the moon in hand size. We get the Clarabelle down, bang, bang, bounce them. Now he has to have Under the Sea to answer my Clarabelle. He can't answer Webby, so Webby's able to get me more lore. And Stopped Chaos in his tracks, just showing the power that it has. So draw a bunch of cards. I think we drew 4 there. And all right, so we see that, but we shoot up to ink now. I think we're at 6, 7, 8. I think we shoot up to 8 ink at this point. he gets a nice sized board. And this is a pretty annoying board at this point, because now when he does stuff, so we're at 7 ink. Okay. Now when he starts doing stuff, he can support everything. And I don't have a good way to remove all these Basils because I took out Under the Sea. So it's a little rough there that's what he has, but that's okay. Get the Webby down. We have all our supports. Cusco. And we're looking good. The nice thing about Webby, and what makes Webby so good, is that even the 4 cost is a phenomenal card. The 4 cost, being able to lay that card down and just quest or be there to sing your welcomes and songs is just awesome. And against most decks other than Purple Steel, which is the only deck really running Demona, it's not an issue. You don't really have to worry about I showed off that Cusco because I found the Cusco, and of course he gets rid of it. But you don't have to worry about Demona readying your warded characters. So Ward just continuing to be an impressive mechanic, but it is what it is. So what do we do here? We can set up a third Webby, or we can go Cusco. The problem with Cusco is it doesn't do a lot for us. If we go Cusco, he just he puts a Tipo on the bottom of his deck. It does get me a 7 cost 5/5 down. Oh, but we bend to my will, and look at that. 2 genies, Iago, Aurora, Hades, bend to my will coming in clutch. We don't need the Clarabelle draw. We already got Clarabelle draw earlier. So now just make him top deck. Make him find a Finder's Keepers. So he has a good board. That's fine, but he's not questing for much, and we have a good board as well. So at this point, we're looking good. We have the Jasmine shift line for if he turns everything sideways. We can set up a third Webby just to really be annoying. And we have so much ink. We have so many opportunities at this point. So here though, just wondering how we want to go about doing it. We do give him the draw, and the reason we give him the draw is because we know that we're going to hit him with the Jasmine shift line soon. So I'm not worried about giving the draw because I know that I'm going to refill his hand anyways. So it's just a matter of I might as well get the draw. And we do have a lot of those big Jasmines, and I wanted to get rid of those because I think we had 3 in our hand. So he has the Magic Feather, gives Scrooge evasive. I was really happy to see that because that means he would turn it sideways, and that is a good thing for us. So now we can Jasmine shift line. We can shift on our own Jasmine. I think we have the baby in hand also though, so we can shift off the baby. And it looks like that's what we're about to do. So we baby Jasmine to give Basil Reckless, and then big Jasmine to send everything back to his hand that is exerted. So what's looking like a menacing board for him is no longer a board that's of any use. And all of a sudden, I have 2 5/5/2s, 2 2/4/2s, and a Cusco threatening the Cusco shift. So, and all of a sudden, he has a pretty decent sized hand. So with a decent sized hand, that feeds my Clarabelle. So that is something he has to worry about also. And then here, I start to think, so he has an Elsa in hand. I know he has a couple different options. I quested the Webby here, and my math was silly. I don't think I should have quested the Webby here. Looking back, so I'm trying to do the math. He plays Elsa. Basil has Reckless, so Basil trades into the Cusco. He gives Basil, so I lost Webby for no reason here, so that was a pretty big misplay, and you'll see why. I don't know why I did that, what I was thinking in my head of what was going to work, but it did not work in my favor. It was a very big misplay, and because now Basil plus Elsa takes out Webby. So, and then yep. Now it does make him lose a bunch of his board by going into this, so that's fine, but unfortunately we lost a lot of our board in the process, which is not necessarily fine. Luckily we do have a Cusco in hand, so we can take out the Basil with our Webby, and then we can Cusco to get rid of the Elsa. So we have options, and we're fine. But yes, questing the Webby, not the play. Again, shows off the power of this deck because I made a big misplay game 1, and I made a misplay this game as well. and arguably earlier on in this game as well, but still able to win this game pretty decisively, to be honest. So let's see. Go ahead, play the Webby, play the Clarabelle. Now, this was an interesting choice. I could have... Okay, so we just bounced the Elsa, okay. So I opted to just develop a wider board instead of going the Cusco line. I think, though, I could have just played the Cusco. I'd imagine what I'm trying to do here is save Cusco for any big bombs that might come down, but I think a better line was probably go Webby plus Cusco, and then that way I have the same board essentially, and he doesn't have Elsa back in hand. I think that would have been fine, but I think we're still fine. We're at 6, he's at 9. We have 2, 4, 6, 8 on board, so not quite 14 on not quite 14 ink. So unfortunately we can't go double Cusco, which would have been really good, but again, it's developing a 2-quester, and I just don't think there's like that's the developing a whole bunch of 2-questers. 5 2-questers on the board is pretty good. Oh, and a Webby, so why not just have everything? Why not just have every 2-quester in our deck? Develop the Webby, develop the Cusco. So he gets to choose. Now, I could have quested there. I think the reason I didn't is because he has a decent hand, so I had to be cognizant of him playing Whale again, because Whale... Or is it still my... Oh, he drew off the Cusco. Okay, so it wasn't my turn. Okay, ink the Chromacon. Okay, so we do just quest. Because if he does play Whale... He can clear my whole board, but he loses his board as well. And he'd also lose... He would lose his board, and I still have 2 2-questers on board, and he'd have to lose his whole hand. So if he does Whale, that's fine. He sends Whale into Clarabelle plus Webby. No, he would send Whale. It would have to be Clarabelle plus Webby. 5, 6, 7 to clear all 3 Webbies, and then he sends 5, 6, 7. So actually he would keep the Scrooge. So if he had Whale, he could have punished me pretty well, but I still go up to 14, 18 next turn, even if he played Whale. But he plays Hades, so at this point he just can't clear enough, and that's game. And 8 minutes left. So again, it kind of shows... It shows off what you need to... Like, a lot of people have been testing this online, and they're like, this deck is really fun. This deck is really good against blue, and it is. It is a very good deck against blue. It's a very good deck, and it's a lot of fun, but it is extremely slow. That was 2 games, and we had 8 minutes and 22 seconds left to go into game 3 if we would have gone to game 3. So what has to happen is, if you realize that if you don't think you have a chance, you have to scoop, and you'll never know if you had a chance game 2, because you just need to have enough time for game 3. But what's risky about that is that this deck, there's a lot of games I'll win and my opponent's at 18, 19 lore, because you're able to hold them there and you find your pivot point and you quest out and win. So it can be a very risky deck. So I say that not to convince you not to play it, but if you do play it, understand that you need to put a lot of reps into it if you're going to play it in person, because you have to be able to play it quickly. And we were not playing slow. We were playing quickly, and that's what happened. 8:22. So keep that in mind. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have comments on how to make this look better, right? Then let me know that as well. But it's my first draft. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's a good start. I have some ideas on how to make it better, but we'll get there. So as always, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Remember though, stay happy and healthy. I'll see you around.